What's up, guys? Want to hear something funny? I was bound and determined to have today's show be about who the team's MVP is and other various little mid-season type fake awards. And it occurred to me in beginning to concoct this concept that the real conversation ought to be who should be the league's MVP off this roster. Good afternoon to you. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is the new Double Shot Show. It comes your way at 4 p.m. Eastern every weekday. T.J. Watt is the best player in the world. I don't know if I'm the conductor of that train, but I'm certainly in one of the front cars, right? I'm at least the guy who's shoveling the coal into the thing to keep it going. Because I see what T.J. does as being just so very football in so many ways. Whereas the person who actually gets MVP is almost invariably a quarterback. And sure enough, when you look at who the various potential guys are at this stage of the NFL season, everybody writes little articles and has commentaries about that sort of stuff this time of year. There's a lot of Josh Allen, and I get that. There's a lot of Lamar Jackson. I get that. Patrick Mahomes, I obviously get that. Even some Jared Goff in there. All four of them are quarterbacks. And I'm sure if that list were to go 10 deep, the other 6 would be quarterbacks as well. Never mind TJ, never a mention of a defensive player. TJ's not just the best defensive player in the world. TJ, I'm going to repeat this, in my eyes, is the best player in the world, the best football player in the world. Now, we can talk about statistics. We can say, I have these in front of me here somewhere to prepare for this. He had 33 tackles, whatever, 6.5 sacks, great, but he's not the league leader. Dexter Lawrence, that the Steelers just faced from the Giants, has 9. He's thrown the quarterback backward for 55 yards. That's nice. 10 tackles for losses, 2 passes defensed, 4 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, whatever. Take it all, roll it up in a ball, and throw it out for the purposes of this conversation. Mike Tomlin said something the other night after the win against the Giants about TJ. And you know how Tomlin usually answers questions about TJ? It's like, what do you want me to say? He's TJ. You know, it was a lot like when he used to refer to James Harrison as James Harrison-like. It's the highest praise James Harrison could possibly receive, is that he was James Harrison-like. Well, TJ is TJ-like. And what that means is that he comes through with these big plays when they're needed the most. So if you're looking for that in a statistic, you're not going to find it. If you're looking for that in some sort of advanced analytic, you're not going to find it. You might not even be able to recognize it on film. What is it that makes TJ that guy who, when the Giants are moving down the field, you say to yourself, man, we could use a TJ moment here? Out of the 66,000 people who were filling those yellow seats Monday night, how many of them do you think had exactly that thought? We could use something out of TJ here. This is when TJ rises up. And then TJ comes off the edge. Boom, gets the ball. And then, as if to show off his athleticism, he turns and pounces on it in almost the same motion. How does he do it? Yeah, he's an athlete. But man, does he prepare. I want you guys to listen. You're going to love this, to what Denzel Martin, his positional coach, had to say about TJ's preparation yesterday on the South Side.
Oh, it's the fanatical. It's the film work. The guy is... You got to get him to almost calm down, you know what I mean? The amount of film and the stuff that he's watching and what he's texting, you know what I mean? Because he's one of those type of guys that likes to just have a text like, hey, I'm seeing this, you know, so it's almost like a diary in our text message, you know? The guy is just, it's that's all I can say. It's just unreal about how he is about his film. So once he gets to the game, it's literally just slowed down, coming to life for him, and he can make plays how he wants to because he just understands by formation structure, by O-line stand, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, he understands almost what's coming.
That's the way TJ's teammates talk about him too. It's never about, oh, did you see this incredible thing that he did athletically? It's about his work ethic. It's about his drive. It's about his commitment to himself and to his team to be the best. And guess what? It's paid off. He is the best. He is the most valuable player in the National Football League. If you don't buy that for whatever reason, take TJ out of the lineup. Right? What's the difference? Or leave TJ in the lineup and allow an opponent like the Jets to stack not 2, but 3 guys on him. Do you know how embarrassing that must be? You got to put 3 humans on another human to try to make your offense work, to try to protect Aaron Rodgers. 3 of them. Saw it with my own eyes. But that frees up all the rest of the guys. Alex Highsmith had a huge day. Keanu Benton. Everybody else got to eat because TJ's over there basically playing cards with 3 other guys. So he ends up with almost no statistics. And you can say, oh, well, look, Myles Garrett had a better day because he was near the oxygen of the other quarterback. No. TJ has the bigger impact in every conceivable way. Best player on the planet, MVP. When we come back, I'm going to check in with Chris Halleck.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
Joined now by Chris Halleck, our beat writer covering the Steelers at DK Pittsburgh Sports. Chris, I have to ask you to chime in. My opening subject was about how TJ Watt should be in consideration for MVP of the National Football League. How totally far-fetched is that when you see that everybody's list of potential candidates
it's not completely far-fetched. I mean, he has no chance of actually winning it, but let's actually try to define what MVP is, and that is literally most valuable player.
Right.
And if you look at the Steelers and what they're doing, first off, they're 6-2. If they play sub 500 football the rest of the way, they're still probably a playoff team. And TJ Watt if you take him off of this team, I don't think they're a playoff team. They could lose out enough where they don't even make the playoffs. And so, but there's so much emphasis on the quarterback that it's just, he's not going to win, but should he earn at least a vote? Yeah, absolutely.
Well, just to throw in a couple other sporting comparisons, because what you're talking about when you say most valuable player is the NHL's definition, the hockey play, the way it's done in hockey, for those of you who don't know, with the Hart Trophy, is it's awarded to the player, and I'm quoting it directly here, adjudged to be most valuable to his team. So it doesn't go to the best player. It doesn't go to the top performer. It goes to the one who made the biggest difference, the way Taylor Hall won it with the New Jersey Devils. Remember, not that long ago, because he almost single-handedly carried the Devils into the playoffs. But you also have, to throw a different sport in, the baseball separation, okay, where the MVP is, player. What's a player in baseball? Is the one who goes out there every day, right? Yeah. Can't possibly be a pitcher. And sometimes it actually is a pitcher, but they have their award. They have Cy Young and they have MVP. In football, it feels like it's MVP is just quarterback of the year. And I don't know, man. I think of football. I think of defense. I think of somebody doing the stuff that TJ does. I don't see how that wouldn't be valued at a really high level. He's out there for 60,
it absolutely
70
needs
snaps.
To be more valued, but I think it's just because, and I don't think there's really much argument here, is the quarterback position is the most important position in sports. They touch the ball every single time.
Yes.
I mean, unless you're obviously run wildcat. Okay, the quarterback didn't touch the ball, but you know what I mean. Like the quarterback is right there. He is the one calling the plays. He's the one calling the checks at the line of scrimmage. He's the one who's got to distribute the ball to all the playmakers, execute the plays. Everything goes through the quarterback, and that's why it's the most important position. That's usually why the best quarterback typically wins MVP or is at least in close consideration for it, because he is very, very much very critical and crucial to the success of the team. Yeah.
He's pivotal. Yeah, he's literally pivotal. It goes the way. And you know what? We've seen it in Pittsburgh. And that leads me to the thing that I wanted to bring up with you here, which is we've seen the impact that Russell Wilson has had. This is not any kind of slight on Justin Fields. They're very different types of players. Russ came in and brought a different look to it and got more players involved in the offense. And when I think about this offense right now, I'm not going to lie to you here. I don't think about what I'm seeing. I'm thinking about what I could see. I'm thinking about what it could look like. Because I think, without speaking for anybody who's watching this or whatever, but I've gotten the sense for a while that everyone sees this offense as being fairly low ceiling. Okay? And I don't know that that's unfair to think that way, because you still have the issues at wide receiver where you've got George Pickens and maybe Calvin Austin, maybe Van Jefferson, maybe who knows if Omar Khan gets somebody else. But overall, man, it feels like, especially now that we've seen Najee Harris take off, so many other things opened up. You're seeing Darnell Washington catch the ball. You're seeing everybody get involved. And what is, in your mind,
the first thing that I thought of as soon as you started talking about ceilings and then started talking about this offense, I immediately went back to Arthur Smith's first time as an offensive coordinator, and that's the 2019 Tennessee Titans. Now, that's a team that finished 9-7. You're like, okay, well, that's not very reassuring. Well, that's also a team that got red hot down the stretch and went to the AFC Championship and kind of gave the Chiefs a bit of a run for their money in Arrowhead. Now, obviously lost. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that's my ceiling here. The ultimate ceiling for this team is, in my opinion, making it all the way to the AFC Championship and then losing to the Chiefs. Now, do I think that that's going to happen? Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. Do I think this team can win a playoff game based off of the way they're playing now and their trajectory? Yes, I do. But I don't think I'm quite ready to be like, oh, yeah, this team can realistically make the Super Bowl. I'm not ready to go there.
When I think of that Titans team, I think of the big three that they had going on. Obviously, it was Derrick Henry in the backfield. A.J. Brown was going out for the deep balls. And you had an orchestrator, if you will, in Ryan Tannehill, who found himself a new life, and they were able to put up a lot of points. I mean, they weren't just getting by. They weren't game managing. The Titans were scoring a lot. When they went into Baltimore in particular, remember the upset in the divisional round? They did that on offense. They did that by going right at the Ravens' strength. When I look at these Steelers, I think about, hear me out on this. This is going to sound ridiculous. I think about Cordero Patterson, and here's why.
I think so. Yeah.
You know where I'm going here. Where was that?
Indianapolis,
right before in Indianapolis.
Yeah, that same drive. Yeah,
and then he got hurt, right? Yeah, and Najee Harris wasn't able to run at all. And Cordero comes in and just he just rockets right through them. And when you see not two but three different types of runners, and you can get yourself even decent line play. It doesn't have to be even very good. Just be decent up front. With three different types of runners, even Cordero in his early 30s can still show that explosiveness. I think you can find yourself in a spot where you can overcome these first down issues that the Steelers have had. You can start making it 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 3, so you and I don't have to constantly bump each other in the press box and say, "Oh, here comes that 2nd and 9 run again," right?
Every game.
We do this nonstop, by the way. But I see that as being what defines the Steelers offense, because once you're running effectively, Chris,
and that's why
all cards are on the
after
table,
this
man.
third straight game, I wanted to take a closer look. And so I recently did a chalk talk on DKPittsburghSports.com. And the one stat that really stood out to me was during the first 5 weeks of the season, Najee Harris's yards before contact per attempt was 1.15 yards. That means he's getting hit almost immediately. And then over the past 3 games, it's more than doubled that. It's almost 2.5 yards before contact per attempt. That means he has about 2.5 yards past the line of scrimmage before he even gets a hand on him. That means that he's getting more room to read the defense, to see what the linebackers are doing or anything like that. And he's then able to run downhill and run at them and make linebackers stress while he's already running at a full head of steam. And Patrick Queen said it like, that's not the type of guy you want to have to tackle for 4 quarters when he's running at a full head of steam. So,
not after you've been mauled by Darnell Washington, but yeah, I mean, that's the whole 15-round fight thing that Najee brought up earlier this season. And it's part of the reason that the Steelers have been the best second half team in all of football. These things can all work in concert. They can. To me, the ceiling for this offense is, I don't know if it's 30 points or something crazy like that. Let's see how it goes here over the second half. But I think the ceiling can be one where they look, like you said, like those 2019 Titans, like the team that's going to hold the ball against you, kind of suck the wind out of you just because you're the other team's offense is standing on the sideline, looking at the watch and whatever else. And I think it can be pretty good.
I think that's more than fair. And again, good. Arthur Smith has been down this road. I mean, shoot, man, that 2019 Titans team, they even had to change a quarterback. And that change of quarterback was one of the things that helped spark the change there. As soon as they changed from Marcus Mariota to Ryan Tannehill, it was Marcus like Mariota, night and day. Yeah. Like even like I'm going back and looking at that game by game. Like you can look at some of the rushing yard outputs. Remember, this was Derrick Henry's breakout year. They had 91 yards against the Jaguars, 39 yards against the Broncos, 72 yards against the Buccaneers. They weren't, and then all of a sudden, 121, 225, 219, 154, 161. They just started running like crazy. Maybe that's all it takes is. It takes a little while to build this stuff. Maybe that's why we've been hearing about all this dam breaking talk. Like as soon as they get to a certain point where they feel like it's about to go, then maybe we see something similar play out. Maybe we don't. I don't know.
Well, I've got 3 things to offer to break this dam. 1, get Justin Fields involved in some capacity. 2, get Broderick Jones to at least be competent. Okay, at least at that level. And 3, Omar can still go out and get that wide receiver. Am I right? Am I right? Okay, when we come back, J1Q.
Safety is a habit. Gun safety and responsible storage are no different. Help prevent gun accidents, misuse, and theft. Keep firearms safe and secure when not in use. For safe storage options, visit projectchildsafe.org.
For today's J1Q, that stands for just one question. We're going down to Fairfax, Virginia.
Happy Halloween, DK. This is Webb speaking to you from Fairfax, Virginia. Today, I was hoping to take a break, like the players are on this bye week, to maybe talk about DK Pittsburgh Sports. I was lucky enough to meet you before the Steelers and Texans preseason game earlier this year, and your love and passion for this city and for this team is 100% true, totally genuine. It comes across in your writing, it comes across on your live stream, but I gotta know, how are you able to separate yourself as a journalist and as a fan? Because when I read your writing, it is down the middle, 100% journalistic integrity. When I hear you talking to the players, 100% down the middle. But when this team is doing well, I kind of see that kid. I kind of see the fan coming out just a little bit. I wanted to know how you're able to separate the two. Keep up the great work, bub.
Oh, man, Webb. I don't even know what to say. And actually, the question that you ask, it's funny that the hardened reporters, and of course, I worked with a lot of those in my early days. As soon as I pretty much got out of high school, I was over at the Post Gazette as a teenager. So I was around a lot of those, like if to go back into Pittsburgh recent journalism history here, some big names in the business. And I got to learn, you're never a fan, you're never this, whatever. And you're not. As you said, whenever you're dealing with whether it's the players, the coaches, the administrators, the owners, whoever it is, you have a responsibility to cover the news. And in my case, because I do opinion, to make sure that your opinion is informed and based on accurate things to the best of your ability. So as I hope you would have seen, even when I had Landon Roberts sitting right next to me here earlier this week, I have a terrific professional relationship with Landon and have since the day he arrived. But Landon knows I'm going to ask the hard questions. And Landon knows that if he misses a tackle that costs the Steelers the game, I'm going to be the first one at his stall. There's just a mutual understanding of what it is that both of us do. Okay, I understand what Landon's doing. He understands what I'm doing. And as long as you communicate with the athletes, again, or the coaches or the owners or whoever, honestly, you're going to be okay with that. Now, to your point about the fan thing, it tends to turn some people off when they hear, the reporters aren't fans. Well, what do you mean by that? Of course you are. You're born and raised in Pittsburgh. And as you pointed out, yeah, there's a little bit something extra when the Steelers are 6-2 heading into the bye week. And there's a good vibe in that locker room. What I'm passionate about, and I appreciate you pointing out the stuff about the city. I'm particularly passionate about our downtown, our little mile and a quarter between the Point State Park Fountain and Grant Street. But I'm passionate about the city and the people in the city. And when the people in the city are uplifted, as they are right now about the football team, man, that takes all boats upward. Okay, it just does. Everybody feels a little bit better about their football team, but also their city and even themselves. I mean, that's who we are. That's who we are in Pittsburgh. We are known to most of the rest of the planet as the Steelers. You're riding in a cab somewhere in Europe, and the guy turns around and says, "Where are you from?" And you say, I always do this. I never say America. I never say United States. I say Pittsburgh, just because I want to see if they know where it is, right? So I say Pittsburgh, and the person will say, Steelers. That's who we are, whether we want to be that or not. I like that. That makes me happy. I'm passionate more than anything else about my work, about the business. And that's a big part of it. Also, going to let you know a little bit of a secret. I'm a little tired of not covering a winner. The baseball team's just a joke. The hockey team's about to hit a really, really rough patch, if they haven't already. And the Steelers, they've been kind of here, but they don't get across the line and win in the playoffs. This reminds me of, when things are really, really fun. And that wasn't all that long ago, actually, for all three teams. So anyway, Webb, listen, man, that was really, really cool. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you checking out Double Shot. We're going to do this again tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern.